to video. Let's put it in reverse. Can't freaking turn the wheel. So guess what that means? Power steering completely out. You guys have no idea how hard it is to turn the wheel. That's like almost all my body weight. And that's harder than a car from the 70s. So this thing's going back to the goddamn shop. That's my whole body weight, guys. So guess what that means? Yup, Jeep going back to the shop for the 3rd time for the power steering fluid. I have no idea why this stupid power steering keeps going out, but this is definitely out. And I will tell you, it's not like, it is like a car from the 70s, but it's gotta be worse because car from the 70s never had any pumps or anything to get in the way when they brake. And this is definitely harder than if a car just did not have it. If you get my gist, it's still there and it's trying to work, but I think it's getting in the way of me just purely even being able to turn the wheel at all. I'm going to the gym really quick. I'm gonna drop the Jeep off. You guys already know the second time that they replaced it, it was free of charge because they, you know, they said that there's like still something still in the lines or whatever, and they put a different product in there. All right, so that's the power steering fluid. It looks, there's definitely leakage. So I don't know if all the fluid came out or what. Actually, you know what, let me check. I don't even know what this thing is. This looks new. What the fuck is that? Guys, I have no idea. It looks like there's some in there. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's empty. So that explains why there's freaking like colorful fluid all over the ground. Come on, camera. Really sweet. I thought something was leaking. I saw fluid on the ground earlier, and it's from the Jeep. So I don't know if there's a line busted or what the hell it is, but that's sweet. Whatever they did not fix the problem. All right. All right, here we are, boys and girls. I want you guys to watch. I know all that looks like is like I'm super weak, but you guys have no idea. Like, it's like you don't understand. Like, it doesn't move. And we've got a WK2 in there, which I think we saw last time. We've got our Buick. We've got the Jeep Grand. Nice little Ford. And we've got another WK friend over here, which I might say has got some aftermarket wheels that look pretty good. I mean, it's definitely stock ride height, but you know, I need to get me some of them. Let's see what this thing is. Laredo. Towing package, Laredo. Alright guys, well it's 30 degrees and just dropped the Jeep off for the 3rd time in 2 weeks. I will say it's not the Jeep's fault. It's, I wouldn't really necessarily say it's the shop's fault either. I don't know if it's, actually I don't even know whose fault it is, but I do know that the something keeps going bad. I don't know if it's just bad luck or one pump really wasn't good or the second one wasn't done right, but it's a few different things, and it's freezing out here, so I'm gonna update you guys next time I have some information tomorrow. Back in the big girl. And I just think this is funny. There's two more Jeeps here as usual. It's like Gang gang, not for good reason though. Welcome back, and welcome back for another update. So I don't remember exactly where I left off, but yes, this is the third time that this thing has been in the shop for the power steering fluid, or the power steering pump. The power steering in general has had issues over the last 2 weeks, 3 times in the shop. Once again, it is fixed. Before you guys get all upset about clickbait, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about when I said the shop modified my vehicle without me knowing, because they really did. They put something in the engine bay that I had no idea about. They did not explain about. And I will tell you before I show you, it really was for good reason, but I just find it kind of weird that they didn't like mention it. I guess they just thought the normal car owners would know the difference and they wouldn't care. So let me show you. All right, so we're good there. All right, so here we are. Still, once again, a little leakage here, and to be honest with you, pretty sure that was from the other day, so that kind of sucks. That'll have to be cleaned up. Full of power steering fluid, and we're good to go. But they did put, I don't remember exactly where it was, but there was a filter on the power steering fluid. Now I'll explain to you why in just a second. Let me get back inside because it's cold out here. Let me just give you a chain of events really quick of what happened and what they did and what they didn't do. So the very first time, replaced the power steering fluid. Cool. What happened was, a week later, there must have been some debris from the old power steering pump when it broke that got into the new one that they replaced and broke that one. So they should have, I guess, taken, advanced precautions or cleaned it out or whatever. They didn't do that well enough. They replaced it a second time. When they did the second one, they used a different brand, and they used the Chrysler certified power steering fluid. I did say in the other video they put thicker fluid in, but when the guy was describing it, I'm like, so is this something you buy from Chrysler? And he's like, well, yeah, it's just special fluid. I'm like, special like power steering, or is it just like special from like everything else because it's power steering? He's like, well, it's just power steering from Chrysler. I'm like, well, why didn't you just say it was power steering fluid? So it was weird that he described it that way. So it does not have thicker fluid in it. I know I already said that, and hopefully that doesn't really confuse people. I'll have to like clarify that item. But all they did was they put a new pump, and they also put like this little filter thing on, which I think I might have pointed out in a different video. I don't even know what this thing is. This looks new. And I didn't really know what it was, and it looked different to me. It looked newer and it looked kind of weird. So when they did that, the filter either broke or one of the mechanisms inside of it just got loose, and essentially what happened was all the fluid drained out over like a few miles. So what happened was it was fine, and then all of a sudden it wasn't because there's no fluid, and that's where I had the crazy squeaks, and then all of a sudden it didn't work when I drove home from work. There's zero fluid left. Which was crazy. He took out the filter because that was just a precautionary thing to catch anything else, and then he just refilled it back up. So that's really why it wasn't working, is because there was a leak, there wasn't any fluid left. So they filled it up. They did not charge me for any of those times except for the initial time I went, which was about 500 bucks. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, oh, you need a new shop, you need to whatever. And like, to be honest with you, I'm not mad, because it was sort of like, the things that happened were kind of like all understandable, and they were all kind of like bad luck in a certain sense. And like, normally I have a pretty low tolerance for like stupid mistakes, but like debris being lodged in those lines seems like something that like you can do a good job at doing, but there's probably no like foolproof way. I mean, maybe if you bled it through, I don't really know, I could be way off, but like that was one thing. And then they put the filter thing on, assuming that everything they told me was true. The filter thing on to prevent stuff, and then that ended up breaking separately. So that wasn't really like their fault necessarily. It's like the product they use, which is no longer on the Jeep anymore, and now it's working fine. So that was sort of the synopsis of, sorry, there's a lady with her dog. Yes, it's been 2 weeks in the shop 3 times, and everyone around me is like, oh man, that sucks, la la la. Yeah, it does suck. And I'm glad, to be honest with you, it's not other things. Like, it's not just consistent stuff breaking. It's just the one thing that unfortunately had some bad luck. Everyone has a different take on stuff like this. Some people have high tolerance, some people have low tolerance. I normally have pretty low tolerance because it's a huge pain in the ass to deal with picking up your car, getting a ride to work, driving a different car. Like, I know I have 2 cars, but I couldn't drive the M3 today because there's literally salt everywhere and it was like below 30, and it's dangerous to drive when you have summer tires and it's that cold, to be honest with you. Very, very rarely will I do that. Driving that car, just, I know it sounds like first world problems, but like, it's not safe. It's just not a good idea. And as a lot of you guys already know, I did that last time with my 335 and that car was totaled. So you guys know firsthand that that is not something that I'm really gonna do very often. With that said, what do you guys think? Is it time to get rid of the Jeep? Probably not. But yeah, so they put on a bunch of things, something that I didn't know about. So that is the story. Hopefully you guys got some taste of what it's like for the Jeep life. I actually kid, it's really not that bad. It's just because this one is an older Jeep. I use it for what it's made for. Have fun with it, and that's the point of it. Don't buy a car and just let it sit around. And I know that you guys are probably thinking the M3's been sitting around, but that car is just not really that fun for me in the wintertime. You know, it's sort of one of those things where like it makes a good video series. It makes it interesting because it's like, are you kidding me? The Jeep's broken 3 times in 2 weeks. So if it breaks again, I will let you guys know. That video will probably be like clickbait to hell, like burning the Jeep to the ground, because I'll probably think about doing that if that happens again. But I think that wraps up the video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, peeps. I really appreciate it, and it makes a difference for the video to see more people. So once again, thank you, and I will see you guys next time.